Hey guys, Thetcglover here, got a video today. Right, so this is something different that I thought I would do. Now, as I was thinking the other day, I realized that, like, obviously real life Yu-Gi-Oh! In the sense of like real life holograms and actually playing a game where you get to use a dual disc and you actually get to summon monsters. It's actually pretty far away still, and I know that people are still hoping that something like Google Glass will help push that dream into reality soon. But to be honest, you know, it's a long way away, and if it ever does happen, it will be pretty cool. And the thing is, what got me thinking is that when it does happen, obviously people are going to be like, oh yeah, I get to play my favorite deck and I just get to see the monsters come into real life and stuff. And I think, yeah, that is great, but you know what would be really great is when you summon a gigantic monster. Now, obviously, like in Pokemon, for example, I'm not very knowledgeable on Pokemon as well as some people, but I do know that Wailord is by far one of the biggest Pokemon in the entire bestiary of monsters, so to speak, in Pokemon. I know that if you were to actually have that Pokemon, it would actually be really, really great, and you get to like destroy buildings of it and stuff just by taking it out of its Pokeball. So thinking like if Yu-Gi-Oh ever becomes real, then being able to actually get these gigantic Yu-Gi-Oh monsters and actually just put them into real life would actually be really, really crazy, and it would you'd have to use something like glasses to actually see them, because if it was actually like in the original anime where you could just summon them and then project them into real life so everyone could see them, it would be a complete disaster having these gigantic monsters everywhere, and that would be just a bit of a pain. So anyway, what I picked is 5 different monsters. I mean, to be honest, there are so many different gigantic monsters. The thing is that I can't just remember them all, it's just so many of them, but I've picked a few out which I thought were notable. So the first one I picked out, and I think I did in order of size, so the last one would be the biggest one. The first one I picked out was number something something Machu Mech. It's the Chronomally Xyz monster. So I got a picture of it here, and basically it's like a massive thing, and it uses 2 level 5s, but basically it's just a huge thing, and you can see the size of Yuma, Astral, Photon Crusher there, so you can see that Machu Mech is huge. You know, if it just comes onto the board, it would just be a massive thing, then you can't even have it in front of you if you were to be using a dual disc, it'd have to be behind you, just a massive thing, you know, and that's not the thing, it can just progressively get bigger, so that thing is pretty small compared to what you can summon. The next thing up is Island Turtle. Now, there's only a picture of the actual artwork itself, there's nothing from an anime or anything like that. So Island Turtle is pretty big. According to its lore, a huge turtle that is often mistaken for an island. So if it's so big that it's mistaken for an island, then it must be really big. By the sounds of it, it looks like it's probably bigger than Machu Mech, so summoning this is probably going to be pretty big, and it's going to be a bit of a disaster having it on the field, taking up all of your monster card slots, you know, and that's not even it can actually get much bigger. I picked Obelisk the Tormentor as the next one because according to the anime, Obelisk the Tormentor and the other god cards are pretty big. I remember when Kaiba and Yugi, they dueled on top of the duel tower, and they took up a lot of space, and whether or not they're actually bigger overall than Machu Mech and Island Turtle, I'm not too sure, but they are pretty big. I mean, if you summon them, they take up so much space. I mean, Kaiba had to summon Obelisk, and Obelisk was behind him. It just completely blocked out the sun, basically. It was huge, you know, and that's the thing, it gets bigger. You know, much bigger. The next one on my list of number 4 out of 5 is number 9 Dyson Sphere. I have a picture of here of when it was summoned in the anime, and I'm not joking, this thing is huge. Like, it just takes up the entire thing. Like, this is so big, like, massively big. I mean, like, the distance away from the guy that summoned it, I can't remember his name, I think it was number 4 or something, when he actually summoned it, it was just huge. Like, it literally, you couldn't see it at first, and it just suddenly appeared. It's just so amazing. Like, when I saw the whole animation happen, it was just absolutely crazy, and it would have been so cool to summon that in real life, just a giant satellite thing. It does really exist in real life, but obviously this is just an animation version. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to summon something like that, and then when you destroy it, oh my god, it just goes insane, just blows up and everything. It's just, it's crazy. And the last thing I could think of out of the whole list is the biggest thing that you could possibly summon in the entire game is probably going to be Star Eater. Now, according to its artwork, it's actually bigger than a star. Like, whether or not this star is the sun, or it's something smaller like a moon, like the moon size, or something like a small asteroid, We don't know that. I mean, obviously it has a small little planet on the bottom right of the artwork here to kind of show size difference. But if this is the size of something like the sun, then this Star Eater is by far the biggest monster in the entire game. And summoning this would just be the craziest thing you could possibly imagine. It'd just be so crazy. And that's pretty much it. I can't say anything else. I mean, it just interested me, if you look at artworks, how big monsters are actually getting. I mean, originally you could have something like Hitatsu Mijai, which is a little monster thing, you know, not even bigger than a person. But nowadays they're just making level 11 synchros called Star Eater that are just huge, and no, giant satellites, and you know, there's all these crazy things. So anyway, that's the 5 that I could think of, but I'm pretty sure there's loads of them. So what I would like you to do is to comment down below and list a card that you know which is huge and would be crazy to summon in real life once Yu-Gi-Oh has become real, in the sense that you can summon actual monsters. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all of that stuff. So until next time, guys, the TCG Lover is out.